Hey, I'm Brad Allen, and I'm the broker in charge of the art of real estate. And we're looking forward to meeting you in the coming days to go show some properties. Before we can show you some houses, the state of South Carolina requires that all real estate licensees give you this disclosure at first practical opportunity and explain it to you. And part of what we do as a company is we do not like to surprise people with paperwork. So we wanted to go ahead and make this video so that way you have time to watch it and absorb it and kind of formulate any questions you might have so you can ask that agent when you meet with them. This form intentions is to explain the difference between a customer and a client and the different types of representation that our company offers. The agent you'll be meeting with will be able to answer any specific questions you have when you meet. My goal is to give you a brief overview. So let's talk about being a customer. As you can see right here in this black box, it says you're a customer of the brokerage. South Carolina license law defines customers as buyers or sellers who choose not to establish an agency relationship. The law requires real estate licensees to perform the following basic duties when dealing with any real estate buyer or seller as a customer: present all offers in a timely manner, account for money and other property received on your behalf, provide and explain. Provide an explanation, of the scope of services to be provided, be fair and honest, and provide accurate information, provide limited confidentiality, and disclose material adverse effects about the property or the transaction within the licensee's knowledge. Also, unless you enter into a written agreement with the brokerage for agency representation, you're by default a customer and we cannot act as your agent, and you should not expect for us to promote your best interest. I know that sounds harsh, but that's just the way the law works. This also limits us to only showing you homes that our brokerage has listed. If you'd like to see homes that are listed by another brokerage, then we have to enter into what's called a buyer agency, which will act as our permission slip for taking you into other listings. The majority of buyers that act as a customer in a transaction usually represent themselves and don't need all of the duties and services that agents provide. So let's talk about how you can become a client. Clients receive more services than customers. To become a client, you'll need to enter into a written buyer agency agreement, which will clearly establish the terms of the agreement, i.e., like the area you're looking in, the price you're willing to spend, the type of property you're looking for, and will outline the obligations of both the broker to you and kind of what your obligations will be to us as a client. If you decide to be a client, you will get client level services such as obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accounting, and reasonable skill and care. Client level services also include advice, counsel, and assistance in negotiations. In essence, you get an advocate in your corner who's looking out for your best interest. This form also asks us to explain the different forms of agency. Our broker, our brokerage only has two forms of agency: single agency, meaning we go into this agreement with you with anticipation of only representing you in a transaction. However, there are times when you're going to want to buy a home that our company has listed. When that happens, it's called dual agency, where the same company represents both parties. In the event that you would like to offer on a home that we have listed, we would provide a dual agency agreement where it outlines the rules going forward for both you and the seller. Not to worry, you don't have to agree to dual agency, and it can be handled on a case by case basis. If this scenario gives you some heartburn, make sure to discuss it with your agent when you meet. So basically, it goes on to talk about disclosed dual and designated. Disclosed dual is actually what we provide, and that's where you'll know who the seller is, and the seller will know who you are, and how that will work. Designated agency, we do not participate in, so I'm going to skip over that. And basically, it ends with saying it's your choice. You can choose to remain a customer and represent yourself. You can choose to hire a brokerage for representation through a written buyer agency agreement. And if you decide to be represented by our firm, you can then decide later whether to allow dual agency. As you can tell, you're in the driver's seat. We thank you for allowing us the opportunity to show you houses, and we hope that if you have any questions that we can address them when we meet. So take care and happy hunting.